Hello everybody, this is my video for the week. I apologize for it being a little late, but it's same old bullshit excuses for me. I got busy with other things in personal and professional lives, and I had to take this thing on Sunday. Well, very rainy Sunday. It's like the weather's been shit lately. I can't, it's fucking terrible. But, number one thing, next week I'm going to be doing my non-wrestling Q&A. So if you have any non-wrestling related questions to ask me for a Q&A, you can go ahead and send those to me. Just just private message me on YouTube and label the message Q&A so I know what it pertains to. I've gotten a few questions and some of them are interesting, but I think I can get a few more to fill out the video. So go ahead and send me those questions and I will do my non-wrestling related Q&A next week. My first non-wrestling related video. Well, actually no. I don't even know. Have I done like entirely football centric videos? I don't recall, but you know, whatever, doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, I wonder, is it a little too late to review Lockdown? It's probably a little too late because it happened a week ago, and I didn't do my immediate reaction or in-depth analysis of it like I did for WrestleMania. So I'll just try to skim over it. Overall, I thought I didn't think it was a very good show. Overall, I really was just underwhelmed and unimpressed by it. Large part of it was because how crappy the crowd was. I don't know what was wrong with those people, but they were just dead silent through most of the show. Like, the tag title match was an awful match and had nothing to do with the four guys. Look, they were trying to get a reaction, but the crowd just didn't give a shit. And I do think crowd reaction is an important part of the excitement for a match, because that, it means that the story and the excitement of the story is translating to the crowd, and then the crowd is reverberating that back to the wrestlers, and they kind of feed off of it, and it makes it easier to watch on television. So I do think a crappy crowd can ruin a match. I think some of the worst pay-per-view crowds I've ever heard, some of the early 90s WCW crowds, when they were pissed off that Flair left, and they were pissed off, and they made sure that WCW knew about it. And then you had that Toronto crowd at SummerSlam 04 that they basically went there just to troll. I can't imagine why so many people would go to a wrestling show just to be dickheads, but they did, and it sucked the life out of the show. I remember making a comment back then. It's like, wow, that was the worst pay-per-view I ordered this year, and it's not the WWE's fault. I can't blame them for that. It's just a bunch of shitheads in the crowd ruined it. So that's that. But yeah, the crowd was awful, and so much of the show just felt like pointless filler. And again, it goes back to the Lockdown concept. So many of these matches don't need to be cage matches. Like, Velvet and Gale was an okay match, but why is it a cage match? Why? The Guns, the tag title match, which shouldn't have even been on the show for various reasons. The Guns just came back. It was too quick for them to be doing a tag title match. And if any match should have been on this show, it should have been the Guns versus Mexican America, just to play into their return, and then they build up the title match. And I'm gonna do an entire video about like this erroneous logic that the pay-per-view match has to be the title match. That's just, it's wrong. It's dead wrong. But I'll get into that. I'll probably do that in 2 weeks. But yeah, that match kind of suffered. Morgan and Crimson was anticlimactic and didn't really do anything for me. The Knockouts tag title match was pointless. The TV title match was pointless. The only matches that really did anything for me, Lethal Lockdown, which I didn't think should have happened because TNA has wisely gotten away from the Stable Wars, and I was hoping that they just wouldn't do Lethal Lockdown this year and you can do Austin Aries versus Bully Ray, and I guess AJ and Daniels one more time, part 805. And let Garrett and Gunner just have their shitty fucking match and then let that thing die. But for what it was, Lethal Lockdown was okay. Angle and Hardy was good. Really good, actually. That was one of the better matches on the show. And I thought Rude and Storm had a great match, the main event. I really did like the main event. I thought they had a great old school kind of match that hit all the story points that it needed to hit. And it was really good. And, some people were complaining that Rude went over, but I'm okay with it as long as they have a plan. Like, if Rude just randomly loses the title on Impact with no build-up, then I'll get pissed. But if they have a plan to ride Rude out as the heel champion, then I think that I kind of applaud them for trying to do that. Because I do think you can get more out of storylines with a heel champion in general if you have a good heel character as champion. make that work. And apparently Storm's going to be nursing injuries, and he's going to be gone for a few weeks anyway. So it was probably a good decision to keep the belt on Rude for that reason. And I think they can get some mileage out of building up a rematch between the two. And that's one of my criticisms of modern day wrestling is that they'll do one match, and then 3 or 4 or 5 months in a row, you get the rematch. Like Orton and Christian, that was probably the worst example in recent years, where it was just Orton and Christian 5 or 6 months in a row, and it just got monotonous. What you could have done was do the first match, and then spend 2 or 3 or 4 months building up the second match, and then so on and so forth, rather than just oversaturating the show with the same match over and over again. But that is what it is. So I really did like the main event, and I did like Angle and Hardy, and Lethal Lockdown was okay. So it wasn't like a completely terrible show, but the crowd was awful, and so much of it was just not needed that it's like, I can't really say it was, an overall worthwhile show. I do want to comment on TNA's open fight night concept that they're going to be doing, because I have some mixed opinions on it. There are parts of it that I like and other parts of it that I don't like. Other parts of it I don't think I fully understand yet. So I want to see how the first one goes. And I read the spoilers for it, and it sounds awful, but not because of the concept, because they're still focusing on the Garrett, Eric, Bischoff family drama bullshit that nobody cared about in the first place. I was like, can we just end that shit, please? Nobody really cares. Come on. But I do want to see how the open fight night stuff goes, and then I'll comment on it once I've got a better grasp on what they're trying to do. But I also wanted to talk about, we've got the build-up for Extreme Rules going, and I'm really fascinated with what they're doing with Cena. Not that I'm like genuinely invested in Cena's character now, but it's more like, are they trying to like turn him into an underdog or something? Because it's like they've heard the criticisms that he's a Superman. And it's like, okay, well, we'll take that criticism away. They had him lose to Rock clean at Mania, which I don't think anybody expected. I personally thought, I said, well, a year ago, I was like, Cena's going to win. I only talked to one person who, honest to God, thought that Rock was going to win. And so that happened. Then Lesnar's been beating him up on TV every week. Then he gets his ass kicked by Lord Tensai, of all people. And at Extreme Rules, I can't picture him winning. I mean, is Lesnar really going to lose his first match back? I doubt that Lesnar would even agree to come back if he was going to lose his first match right out of the box. So he's probably going to lose at Extreme Rules. And it makes me wonder, are they trying to turn him into the underdog and kind of take away that criticism that he's a Superman? I don't know if that's what they're going for. But it is fascinating. I think a large part of it with me, though, and that will never help Cena's character, or how Cena's character is never going to be fixed as he is as a babyface, is that he's just stale. He's been constantly on TV since 2005, as a main eventer since 2005, and it's been the same shtick over and over and over and over and over again for, God, 7 years. 7 years. I can't believe it's been that long. And it's like nothing's ever changed. It's still the same goofy, multicolored idiot character that's being shown, whether he wins or not. I mean, granted, the winning in the Superman bit was annoying, but it's still not going to change the fact that he's a doofus. And I do think a heel turn would severely help him. Some people say, oh, but that'll hurt merchandise sales. But I think WWE's shown that they can turn anybody into a big merchandise seller to replace him. Like, I mean, Zack Ryder sold merch. CM Punk sells a lot of merch. Daniel Bryan's new Yes shirt is apparently selling really well. Rey Mysterio is always going to be a big merch seller. So it's kind of like, if that's the thing that they're clinging to not turn him heel, it's kind of silly, because it's like your history shows that you're able to create mega merch sellers like at the drop of a hat. Like, I mean, you could get any other character to fit in Cena's shoes and be the next kitty crack buy my shit character. So I don't think turning him heel would be like that, that drastic of a change as far as merch sales go. And I think it would make the show more interesting. So it's kind of like, which one is more important to you? So that's all I got for this week. Again, I'm going to be doing my non-wrestling related question and answers video next week. So send me your questions. Private message me on YouTube, label it Q&A so I know what it pertains to, and I will answer your questions next week. Non-wrestling related questions. I've gotten some interesting ones already, and I'm kind of looking forward to doing this because it kind of gives me a chance to kind of expand beyond wrestling a little bit. So that's that, and that's all I've got for now. So I will see you all next week with that video.